I'm using up old batteries and charging my rechargeables, and that's why these are running out. But I ate too much Sunday and Monday, so today I'm gonna cool it. I'm not gonna fast. I'm gonna cool it though. Suffice to say, I'm gonna cool it. I've already planned exactly what I'm gonna eat. I'm going to make my shake, which usually makes 2 big glasses. I'm going to split it up. I'm not going to have it all at once. I might just have that half shake, an apple, and some sunflower seeds. Half shake, apple, sunflower seeds. I might have 4 servings of my colon cleanse today. They say you can have 1 to 4. I might have 4. And then tonight, while I'm watching The Voice, that was what my downfall was last night. I wanted to eat. I was down there. When I'm up here, I'm not eating, but when I'm down there, I normally don't watch TV, don't watch movies. Omar had to go in the cage at one point because his dog came in from the pen, and I'm like, God, I don't watch hardly any TV. Once in a while, a movie with him, or with my roommate, or I watch Believe on Sunday nights, and I watch The Voice, and that's it. And the dogs were going crazy, and I couldn't hear, and I want to hear the people sing. I put Omar in the cage to separate him from my roommate's dog, With Pen, the little cage that's a lot bigger. It's not a carrier. I showed it to you in a video before. Paid $45 for it. It was with tax and shipping and whatnot, but it was like half price. I got it half price from Petco online, and it works out good. And every once in a while, if Omar doesn't poo-poo outside or something. Oh, by the way, Omar hasn't gone poo-poo in this house. I was checking my Hotmail because I used to write everything on my calendar, but I find it easier. I'm going to transfer it to my calendar, but I find it easier to just quickly write in my Hotmail, anything. Omar poo-poo outside AM, Omar poo-poo outside PM, Laura shower, wash hair with henna, shampoo, conditioner, and if I dried it in dried hair, Laura walk for 1 hour, walk to the mall and back. Laura weighs too much, Laura weighs 169, or Laura weighs 164, or Laura fasted all day on this day. I put the dates too. Of course, even though Hotmail has the dates, I still put the date. I put in the title. Those are the big ones that I've written down in Hotmail. I wrote down what I watched. Redbox movie. I watched Dallas Buyers Club, or Thanks for Sharing, or Man of Steel. Those are the 3 movies I watched with him that I got from Redbox, Oh, clean. Laura spent 1 hour cleaning, or, these are all in my Hotmail over the last couple of weeks. The big one is Omar poo-poo, Very proud of him. I was looking backwards, and it's been, I think, over 2 weeks. The last date I have written in my Hotmail that Omar poo-pooed inside was like March 28th or something. So I'm very proud of him. But I'm proud of myself too, because I've been vigilant. I've been taking him out all the time. He still pees. He peed on that stupid chair downstairs. It's just an old one that's in the dining room, but I had to tell my roommate. And then I don't know how to get chocolate out of something. I didn't even want the damn chocolate bar when we went to the market. They don't have good ice cream. They don't have that 3 Twins ice cream that I like. They didn't even have Amy's that I like. They only had Stonyfield frozen dairy dessert organic, and I'm not crazy about that. I've tried the vanilla swirl. I've tried the coffee chop or whatever. I'm not crazy about that. It wasn't worth it, so I bought an endangered species candy bar. But I couldn't even control myself, and I ate it in his car, and then I realized I got chocolate on his seat, and I'm like... And we were bringing in all the groceries, and he's like, I went back again, and he's like, I got the rest, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I want to get the chocolate off your seat, I was like, and it didn't work. I don't know what to use to get chocolate off of his car seat, but I'm going to Google it. But yeah, like I said in the other video, I've never, from the moment I was a kid till right now, and I'm 45 now, going on 46, never felt comfortable in my own skin. So if you look at that very deeply, okay, this woman's never felt comfortable in her own skin, then it shouldn't surprise you when I say I can't fall in love. I can't even, You know, it's a foreign concept to me. Joe told me he loved me 3 weeks after I met him. We met each other, and guess what happened after that? I couldn't accept that he loved me, and I became, quote, suicidal, unquote, at least in his eyes. I told you I don't think I'd ever do that, but it doesn't matter. If I'm behaving as if I would and talking about wanting to die, he called the cops on me, and that was one of the 2 nights in my life that I wound up spending a night in a mental health facility, okay? It's only twice in 45 years, though. Not bad, considering all things considered. And once in jail overnight for screaming at the top of my lungs in my mom's apartment when she was away for the weekend on some kind of singing trip or something. I don't know. She used to belong to a chorus or whatever you call it. And I was there. I was in my 20s, and I had felt severely rejected. Remember, I've never fit in, but I was pretty, and especially when I lost the weight. The manager at Friendly's, who hated me, couldn't stand to see me losing the weight, and she was telling me I was getting too thin. No, I wasn't. At 166 and 5'9.5" and bare feet, I was not too thin. She was jealous. And I'd only lost like 16 pounds, but it didn't matter because I toned up and looked like I lost 30. I would go to the gym 3 times a week for 3.5 hours at a time, you know. And I was feeling good about myself, but when I look good, I feel even less comfortable in my own skin, because then, you know, a lot of times men are lusting after me, you know. And 99.9% of the time it's men I would never be interested in a million years, and women are hating me, okay? So there you have it. But I was feeling so rejected by these people at Friendly's because they were talking about going out and everybody was going out, and of course they didn't invite me, and, you know, I wound up getting shit-faced in my mom's apartment, and then I was taken off by the police, but for my own good, my own safety. I wasn't arrested. It's called, I don't know what I forget what it's called. It's the same thing that happened to Donald later, and with the Culver City police, okay? They detained him overnight for his own safety, you know? But it's not being arrested. Donald's a fucking bastard, but just like me, he has a clean criminal record. He's actually a criminal. I mean, a low-end criminal, you know, steals DVDs off of, uses whatever he taught me how to use, Pirate Bay something, and I forget the other ones. They always change their names anyway. They're probably different now. But, you know, steals music, DVDs, you know, stuff like that, low-end, and people's Wi-Fi, and, okay? He's a natural criminal. I should have never been with somebody like him, but, you know, I was giddy. I see signs, you know, and I thought that Donald, it had to be fate. I mean, what were the chances that I'm attracted to him, his mind, and then he's gorgeous and he lives in LA? What are the fucking chances of that? It's meant to be. He's talking about making me a star. He found me in a major where he's gonna, and then it turned out he was I didn't even find this out until a year into our relationship, but I knew immediately that it turns out he lived with his mom and had been on psych disability, social security disability, for the past 10 or so years. Nothing like that will ever happen again to me, though. Remember, I trust nothing and nobody now, except for Joe. And the reason is Joe has earned it. Joe has he's never veered off course. He's never done anything. You know what I mean? He's remained consistent. And it's been like 20 years now that we have been really good friends, okay? The kind of friends who can talk about anything. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. I'll say whatever. I hadn't talked to him in a long time, and he says, well, I haven't dated in quite a while. And I'm like, oh, you masturbate, right? And he's like laughing on the phone. He's like, oh, yeah, of course, you know, everybody does. I mean, you know what I mean? I'll say stuff like that to him. I'll say anything because that's how I am. And that's why we don't bullshit each other. It's not a phony relationship, okay? I would trust him with my life, but he's the only one. And the fact of the matter remains, we are not, he and I are not boyfriend-girlfriend material. So I have to be very careful if I want to get laid again, and for the first time in my life. And I have to say this simply because even with Joe, we were not sexually compatible. I've never been with a man I was sexually compatible with, okay? I sacrificed that to be with the men that I connected with up here. Not anymore. Now I don't give a shit. And I'm going to be very, very picky. It's just not going to happen unless I really want it to. But the bottom line is I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I'm not comfortable around other people. I'm afraid of everything. You know, so it's not easy. And that's an understatement. But back to regular reality. Everyday mundane reality for me. I ate too much of that fucking GHEE over the last 2 days. I purchased 3 big tubs of it. They don't exist in, well, I've never seen them in the supermarket. They probably, you could buy maybe in a, you know, a health food store or something, but in any case, a regular supermarket. At Stop and Shop, only back when I was living with my mom, I found it. This Stop and Shop around here doesn't even have it, because I checked, but small one. But no, I have to buy 3 big ones off of Vitacost, thinking that, oh, this is a butter substitute, and it's not bad tasting, and it has far less calories and fat than butter. No, it doesn't. Now I have 3 big tubs of it, so what am I going to do? I OD'd on it these past 2 days. I'm sure I put on weight. I can see my belly's bigger, but I'm going to cool it today. And, I'm going to hide the G in the back of my cabinet. The one that have all the beans in, the hundreds, over 100 cans of beans. That was a very good investment on my part. I had the beans I took from my mom's house that I had purchased, organic beans, from Hannaford, so they're called. Hannaford's has its own brand. They're both N. One's Nature's Place, and what's the one I just natural. They're very close in name, but in any case, I have over 100 cans of beans in the down cabinet. And you think of all these cans of beans, so at least, yeah, I still might want the damn G. I might be in a bad mood. I might find out bad things about my mom, or that my mom's house has been put up for sale, or whatnot. And I might want it, but at least I'll have to work for it. Think about it. If I pile all my beans in this bottom cabinet, it's on the ground, right? I was very thankful he doesn't have much food when I found cabinet space where he had nothing. I found a drawer in the bathroom too where he doesn't have any of his stuff either, but I have my stuff on the shelf with his too, but I found a drawer underneath the sink and it has nothing in it, so I'm like, oh, this is cool, I can put my own stuff in it. It will be totally separate from his. He doesn't even put anything in this drawer, but I'm going to put my G at the very back of that cabinet and put all the beans in front of it. So at least if I really want that fucking G, and I'll never buy it again, by the way, because if something tempts you and you're trying to keep your weight down, you just don't have it in the house, okay? My willpower, you know, I'd rather just not have it. I don't have to have it. I can use olive oil. If I really want something with bread, olive oil, maybe I buy cheese once in a while, but I eat it, or cottage cheese, I eat it pretty fast, and then it's gone, and that's it, until we go to the market in a couple or so weeks, you know, again. I'm going to hide the G. I'm going to do that, actually, today. I'm going to hide it behind all the beans, so if I really want it, I will have to be sitting there and taking all these cans of beans out, and while I'm doing that, I'll be thinking, Laura, you know, do you really want this G? Do you really need it? It's pure fat, you know, it's pudding, you know, it's even higher fat and calories, saturated fat, whatnot, than butter. You didn't know it. You bought it. And I'm sure every once in a while, especially if I decide to get shit-faced, or not shit-faced, tipsy or whatever, I'm probably going to want it. But at least it won't be in plain sight in my top cabinet. Because when I first moved in, there was cabinets. Of course, he had stuff in all of his cabinets. And I said, you know, the best thing to do for us is you have this side. They're identical. You have this side. So that very day I moved in, he moved all his stuff. And I have this side. So right now the G is right in the front of the top cabinet, right at my level, you know. And it tempts me. But today I'm going to move it down to my bottom cabinets, and I'm going to put all the beans in front of it. And then it'll be kind of like out of sight, out of mind. I'll know it's there, but it won't be in my face. See? So that's the plan with the G, because yes, ate too much of that over the past couple days, and it's showing in my belly. And as I said last night, I can talk louder now because he's not here. I'm not surprised now that I've gotten to know him a little bit. He may have lied to me, or may have been in a different situation where he's with people before. I'm not going to tell you about him, but you know, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm in shock because I thought he's not putting stuff on his dog. He's leaving it up to fate, and he's going to pay the consequences, probably. I'm not saying he definitely will. It's just my experience, especially when you have a dog that's out a lot during the day, and you know, and I already. Even before we had a cold day even after that, but there was warm days. I told you last week I found a tick on me. You think if a tick made its way onto me and then found me again and I had to drown it, that ticks are not going to find their way onto his like longer haired dog. Of course they are. I'm sorry, but if you're not dirt poor, you can afford to buy some kind of Frontline Plus, Advantage. Pick one. Pick one. Okay? If he can buy cigarettes, if he can do this, if he can go out on a date or with friends and spend money or whatnot, he can fucking buy that stuff to put on his dog. He's just not doing it. He's not doing it. People have to learn by their own mistakes. You know? There's not going to be an I told you so. There will be in my head, I told you so, I told you so. The same thing with Donald that time, okay? You know, but with him, it's different. He's paying a lot more per month than me. Okay? And he takes me to the grocery store, into Walmart, into Target, into wherever I need to go. Stores, you know. And even that time, I got stuck where I was visiting my mom in the mental hospital, you know, and I got back too late to take the bus or whatnot. And I was drinking on the train and whatnot. It was far away. I traveled, you know, commuter rail, train, bus, whatever. He came and picked me up at, I don't know what time it was. The bus I was supposed to take didn't run, and it turned out later I could have taken a different bus, but there's no way to know. And it wasn't that far for him to come pick me up, and he did it. So, you know. But I can see what's going to happen. You play Russian roulette with fleas and ticks, and a lot of times, more often than not, you're going to get burned. In my book, you don't mess around with that. Like I said, even people who don't believe in putting the poison on their dog, okay? And I don't like doing it, but I can't stand fleas and ticks, and I experienced that at Donald's and Hope's, and, you know, when Donald was a fucking cheap bastard and ordered the Advantage off of eBay, I'd always purchase the Advantage, but now I'm on welfare and I can't, you know. And I've experienced fleas on me. And I've experienced ticks on me. And you don't fuck around with that shit. I don't like putting the poison on Omar, but I do it. Okay? And I paid for the damn shit no matter what. No matter how poor I was, I would still pay for the damn shit. But people who don't, you know, a lot of times will still do something else. They say, well, if you don't want to put this on your dog, you got to have a flea comb and you have to check your dog every night. This man can work 16 hours in a day like that or whatnot. Believe me, when I first moved in, I felt bad for the dog. He's a nice guy, but he kept not cleaning up the dog shit in the pen, and it was building up to a point where I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself. And now I've been keeping up with it. I do it for the dog, and I do it for my roommate, you know. I do it to help at least a little bit make up for how good my roommate's being to me, and he uses his own gas to take me, you know what I mean? I also buy extra stuff. We were at the market, and they had a sale price of the Ajax dish detergent, which I do not buy antibacterial, and I don't want antibacterial. But they had a special thing, 40 ounces for the price of 30. I didn't just buy one, I bought 6 of them. See, I keep us stocked up. And he wouldn't tell me to do this. He's not the type who would tell me anything, you know. But I keep us stocked up on dish detergent, sponges, garbage bags, paper towels, toilet paper. I told you when Stuff and Shops had deals on the Scott 1000 sheet 12-pack of toilet paper. I bought a whole bunch of them. We're still good on toilet paper. I'm the only one. Basically, he's gone all the time, you know. So I'm the one using up all the toilet paper. We still have plenty of toilet paper, and I've been here now over 2 months. And of course, we bought all this stuff right away, you know. I believe we went shopping that very next day after I moved in when did I move in? The Saturday, so Marion returned from her little vacation overseas or wherever that Friday. It was the 7th, I believe, so it was the 8th I moved in with him. He came and got me sight unseen. Who does that? He witnessed my, quote, craziness, quote, unquote, you know. But he needed the money, and I was giving him $1,500 right up front. We went to my bank, and we got the $1,500 out, and I handed it to him. But I was leaving my mom's and leaving it for the last time, and I had to make sure I was still filming. I was still hanging up notes, and I was still filming the notes, but in any case, he saw how agitated I was when he got there. I wound up leaving behind a bag that probably had I wound up leaving behind some stuff, but I'd rather leave behind a couple $100 worth of supplements and a couple $100 worth of jewelry than pictures. You know what I mean? So I got the pictures, and you know. If I ever miraculously have money again, I can replace the jewelry. And I've already replaced the supplements because I have to have my shakes, you know. And it wasn't all my supplements, just whatever. I don't know what it was. I don't know how it happened. I just know that it did. And it happened because I was panicked that Mary was going to show up there at any moment, because I'd received a text from her, get stuff together for you, Mom, I'm coming to, you know, I'm coming to pick it up, to take it to her, bring it to her at the hospital. And fuck, why can't I ever be given a break, okay? And Dog Woman had said, do you really think Marion just got back from, because I said to Dog Woman, I'm like, I really should just go to a hotel. I don't want Marion to show up here. I'm going to lose it. And she said, come on, Laura, use your brain. Do you really think Marion's going to show up there when she just got back from vacation last night? She was going to want to relax. The last thing she's going to do is come over there. No. Because I'm in hell. I had the text, and she was going to come over. Fuck me, you know. So whatever got left behind got left behind. It was all in the living room. But remember, it was all in the living room that was filthy because my mother had destroyed her own house that I'm now being blamed for destroying, okay? So it got mixed up somehow. Somehow we left that one thing behind. Who knows how? All I know is that my room I left spotless. It wasn't everything I had taken out of my room. It was all ready. It was just, I was panicked. I was panicked and I was agitated, and I was still hanging up notes at the last minute. I finally had gotten some sleep that night with Omar, but then it was just hell. It was hell. Had there not been a chance in hell of Marion showing up, like she wasn't back from vacation yet, which would have been ideal. Oh, how do I wish that, if she had just only been coming back Saturday night, and I would at my leisure. He could have come and picked me up, and I wouldn't have been panicked. He got there, I'm like, we have to hurry, and I saw his tiny car. I'm like, oh fuck, everything's not gonna fit in your car. Well, my storage, I already have it down there. You know, it's all right. We'll just have to make a couple trips. But Marion could show up at any minute. I was panicked. It was a miracle he was even showing up sight unseen. I was under the wire. I had written to him. I said to him, I have the Hotmail. I can't imagine you'll agree to this, but would you agree to just, because he had talked about coming, you know, he had talked about, I think, coming down to meet or something or other. But I said, I'm under the wire. Would you agree to just come and get me? Sight unseen, with us meeting first. Come get me in Omar. Could he have been a psycho and killed me? Yes, I didn't care. What do? You only can do what you can do, people, okay? You only can do what you can do. And you have to remain calm and diplomatic when you're in the face of something, you know, that you just can't believe it. It's like when I was in that transitional housing. It was a miracle my mom had come through for me. She had sent me the flight. I already had the fucking flight. I had it for me in Omar. That place, stupid woman, and she was African American, but she was a fucking bitch, okay? A fucking bitch. And she ran whatever. I'm not going to elaborate because it's probably going to run out, but to make a long story short, she hadn't bothered to even meet me. Her boss, who ran the transitional housing, in the end, she's like, well, I haven't even met you yet. And then she didn't believe me that I had the flight, and that I'd already overstayed my welcome. And in the end, she's like telling me, saying, we need that room, you gotta leave. You have to leave. You know, they let me stay for that. You have to leave. Your license came in, your flight came in, and she was like, well, I don't see any piece of paper. Yeah, they had messed up my, she didn't believe me because most people lie. She thought I was trying to just stay there forever. She didn't believe I had a flight. So at the last minute, if I could have just stayed there a few more days, everything would have been fine. No. I was thrown out. It was just, I can tell that story some other time. It's a real good story, but all my stories are good because they're real and they're gritty, and they just, she was a fucking bitch. She wasn't the big boss, but she ran everything, and the big boss, you know, acquiesced to her, and it wasn't my fault. I mean, it was my fault I hadn't met her yet. Had she said, I want to meet you, she never said, I want to meet you, and then she's acting like it's my fault. We'd never met. She's just ridiculous. But it was a whole big, horrible thing that happened. You don't have to know every detail, because I could write a memoir, and then you would know every detail. I have everything written down. I have it all in my head. I have it in my heart. The bottom line is, when you are faced with something like that, there was nothing that I could do. I said to her, I'm like, I can't just stay a few more. No, you need to leave. They didn't really need that bed. I know they didn't. She wanted me to leave. She didn't like me. You need to leave. but I have a flight back to LA. I know you let me stay longer than I was supposed to because I'd lost my license and I was waiting for a new one to come in and whatnot, you know. And she hadn't personally let me stay. They had let me stay. See, she wasn't even in the picture. She hadn't even asked to meet me or whatnot ahead of time. Or now suddenly she's pulling her weight or, you know, throwing her weight around. And I did say, I mean, my heart's sinking. Please, I have a flight in just a few days. Can't you just let me stay till then? You've already let me stay longer. No, you need to leave. You're not out of here, bye, love. Don't make me come and get you or whatever. Don't make me the veil of threat, you know, I'll call the cops or whatnot. So I had no choice. I was staying there for free under the good graces of the big boss. But he would, you know, she's the one who ran things, and she had been busy and not bothered to meet me. When she did, she didn't like it that I was there and I was leaving, and didn't matter. And yes, I know every detail, and it's a good story. It would make its own individual memoir. Because I was in one place and moved to this place where it was all the same. Whatever you want. Oh, and then she says, I'm not running a charity here. I'm running it. This is a business, you know. Yeah, it was. Whatever your income was, you would pay whatever, and you're never even around, and you would leave every day. And what did you want me to do? Wouldn't you rather have me leave? Well, where are you getting the money to leave? Oh, well, I'm walking miles to take the goddamn bus to my storage unit, to, you know what I mean, or doing whatever. Why would I want to hang out here? It was where drug people were, you know, it's a place where it's on whatever you call it, lockdown or something. Like they weren't allowed to ever leave. So I was around, but I became friends with people in there too. I liked a lot of the people in there. Like I said, I don't have to be a heroin addict or whatnot. I can be friends with anybody. I can't be close friends in the end, but under the circumstances, you know, I became friends with people in there. But I figured they would want, she like that, you know, steps forward after not even bothering to reach. I knew she existed, but I figured if she wanted to meet me, she would leave a note with her supervisor. That's one of those supervisors who watched over the people. This was a thing where they had to stay there. They weren't allowed to leave. They'd have chaperone trips, and they were there to, you know, to get clean and whatnot, and in a program, whatever you want to call it. And I was only there because I was in a regular place, and the woman had turned against me, and I was afraid of her. And I could tell the whole story in a memoir. I have so many, quote, stories, unquote, you know. But the bottom line is, in the end, you find yourself, oh, fuck, come on, I'm fly. I've been through so much trauma, so much hell. I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, but I wasn't going to argue. How can I argue if she's saying, we need this bed? We need this bed and you need to go. You're not supposed to be here anyway. You're not a part of this program. And we're letting you stay under your good graces. And you stayed long. You had said a week. It's been 3. You were waiting for your license to come in. It took longer. It takes a while for a license to be mailed out. We let you stay longer. Now you need to go. I of course started tearing up, and she's like, and don't make, you better be gone by tomorrow, and don't make me come in and make sure you're gone. Don't make me come down there. Of course I was gone. And then I already told you that part. I had my flight already. Everything was fine. I had to survive for the next 5 days. Spent that, barely even found it. Got lost. Did that with that. Spent that night in that horrible New Images shelter or whatnot. That one night, and that was it. And then the next 4 nights I rode the bus all night long, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then the rest is history. Got Omar. Barely made it to my flight. Got Omar. Barely made it to anything. And terrified the entire time, because remember, I'm staying on the bus in shelters when I had to go back to that storage unit that's right down the street from McDonald's, and Hope living. And I had to go with Omar, and I had to get my stuff and get the fuck out of that state, okay? All the while terrified, if that's not trauma, it's just constant. And it was an overnight flight, and then I arrived. Omar and I were safe. We arrived safely in Massachusetts, only for me to call up my mom and hear her say, "Why didn't you call me? I would have told you not to come." And you know the rest. And if you don't, then watch some more of my videos and you'll start to be piecing together all these pieces.